a brief review over the last several chapters. Actually, till chapter 5, we learned about the godly soul. Chapters 6 through 8, we learned about the animal soul. Chapter 9, we understood that there's a battle between the godly and animal soul. Our life's about the battle. Chapter 10, we spoke about the righteous person who's won the battle, has transformed the animal soul into a positive power, which means the heart and everything that's latent in the heart. Chapter 11, we spoke about the opposite. A rasha, called wicked, evil person, meaning that they have a stain upon their soul and have a capability of doing wrong. And then we came to chapter 12, the Beinoni, the intermediate. Person is not righteous, but doesn't do wrong, because always wins the battle day in, day out. Then we went into chapter 13 to explain how it works, the makeup of the individual. Makeup of the individual, of the Beinoni, is that the first thought comes, the first engagement of the individual is coming from the animal soul, of its judgment, and then comes when we don't lose our power of choice, comes the godly soul's judgment, and the Beinoni will always win and follow the godly way, the divine way, as opposed to following the animal soul's desires. And we went into 3 different levels of the Beinoni. And then chapter 14, we explain what's the bottom line of the Beinoni. Beinoni sees everything as either a connection or a disconnect from God. Every engagement, every challenge, not even if it's seemingly a challenge, anything and everything is about connecting or disconnecting from the divine. Am I being authentic to my godly soul, the true me, or am I being inauthentic to it and following, that which is comfortable and pleasurable of the animal soul? And yet, even though the individual is but a Beinoni, will not transform the negativity from within, yet, as we have been empowered and given an oath before our soul came into this body, into this world, that we should be righteous and not to be wicked. And as we explained, not to be wicked, meaning don't be a rasha, be a Beinoni. So then what's the oath that you should be righteous? Is that you should at least make an effort, just like the righteous, they delight in God. They don't delight in a cup of coffee. They delight in what the coffee does for them. Right, as opposed to the coffee itself. They delight in the divine of it. And hating that when it's not in that manner. And with that, now we come to chapter 15. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zuch and Kedoshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. So we begin chapter 15 with a verse from Tanakh, from the prophets, that says that you should return and see the difference between the righteous man, the wicked one, and between one who serves God and serves him not. So there's a righteous one, there's a wicked one. There's between one who serves and serves him not. Now you might think that it's just redundant, right? The one who serves is the righteous, the one who serves him not is the wicked. The Alter Rebbe says no. There's more there to that phrase. So he explains like this. The one who serves God as opposed to the righteous. Well, what is the one who's serving? The one who's serving is the one who's struggling. To serve means that you are in the midst of the struggle. Oved Hashem. Oved Elokim, rather. Right? That you're in the midst. Who is that speaking about? The Beinoni. In the midst of the struggle. In the midst of the struggle, that the evil nature of the body and the animal soul that wants to control the individual, to be just merely a pleasure seeker, a seeking that everything is what's good for me, right? Which is really self-preservation, and that's the animal instinct, right? So they're still struggling with that. And therefore, us serving in the present tense because of the constant battle. The righteous, on the other hand, they're called Eved Hashem, servant of God, not serving God. They're the servant of God, meaning it's a noun as opposed to an adjective describing. It's like, like someone became a doctor, or someone was a sage or a king. It's been bestowed upon them to be a sage or a king. In other words, I'm not working to become the king. I'm not working to become the sage, because once you've reached a status, you are that. Like a doctor has, gone to school, does everything that need to do, and now they have the title of a doctor. It's already the state that they've achieved. And that is, in this instance, meaning, so the righteous means they're not struggling anymore. They're not waging the war with the negativity within them because their heart is void of that negativity. They have in the past dealt with it. They have in the past struggled, because no one can be righteous without first going through the stage of struggling of the Beinoni. So definitely they, just like someone who goes to school, struggles through school, right? And then gets the title. So the righteous now no longer struggle. So this is what the verse is saying. See the difference between the righteous and the someone who is serving. Not to say that the righteous don't serve, but we don't call them a servant of serving God. They're the servant of God. They already are that. They've accomplished it, in the sense that they are there. They've achieved it. The Beinoni is in the middle of his studies, so to speak, right? Like we are, Beinoni in training. So even the Beinoni, who has got mastery over thought, speech, and action, yet is in the current status of serving, still in school, as it were, still working towards the degree, if you will. And as we explained previously in the previous chapter, that's what is going on. So hence this phrase in the prophets is not repetitious. What I need to understand now, because the verse says like this, and by the way, that was the end. It's a very short class today, left in the middle of a thought. So the verse says, see the difference between the righteous and the wicked. Okay, that we get. The one who is serving and serving him not. So the Alter Rebbe says that serving doesn't refer to the righteous because they're not serving, they serve. They're the servant already. They've achieved. They're the servant. They're not serving. In other words, serving meaning in the midst of the battle. They've won the battle with their negativity. They've transformed the animal soul within them. All negativity that's in their heart, it's just hard to imagine what that means, how that's accomplished. That's just a sign of we're distant from being a righteous person. But they've transformed it. And the desires and the lusts that are self-directed of the heart are now only God-directed. So that's, okay, we get that difference. So the one now who's serving is referring to the Beinoni, because he's in the midst of the service. So then, of course, the question is, because the end of the verse says, between he who is serving and serving him not. Who's not serving him? What does it mean not to serve? Who would that refer to? So you think that would be the wicked. But no, but we mentioned the wicked already. The Rashi has mentioned. So it can't be the wicked. What we're going to see, and not today, is two levels in the Beinoni. One who is serving, one who's serving him not. Well, how could you not be serving God? We'll see. You have to wait for that. But very interesting. What will come out of this is a real beautiful idea of what it means truly to serve God. What does it really mean? And how do we know in our lives that we are serving rather than just, going through the motions or just doing on autopilot or not serving? And that's where we're going to go with this. But patience, please. All right. Let's say hello to Diane, who was with others, my wife's class last night for ladies, Rosh Chodesh class. Yeah, glad you all enjoyed it. Davida and Liba. Stella is with us. Welcome. And who else is joining us today? Robert in England. Jane is with us in Philippines. Simcha in Florida. Lorraine joining us. Thank you. Lorraine, you must be in another part of the world where it's Thursday. Mordechai is in Massachusetts with us. Sandy in Michigan. Dana in Washington State. John in North Carolina. Okay, thank you, Mordechai, from the Steinsaltz bringing. Very nice. Who else is joining us? When Mashiach comes, see some questions here. What qualities must be possessed by an observer in order to recognize a righteous person? Ooh, Brett, excellent question. How do we know a righteous person? Because it's something of the heart that they transform. We can observe behavior, but we don't know what's going on in their heart. Are they struggling with desires of their heart that are not healthy desires, not appropriate desires? Is that happening or not happening? We can't tell that. So the righteous are not going to tell by their behavior merely. That won't be sufficient. You know what? Got to think about that. Thank you, Brett. I'll come back to it. Joseph is with us in New Jersey. Okay, Diane, welcome. A new Diane, yep, joining us. Thank you. So, Davida, you have a question. When Mashiach comes, will there be the same spiritual level? No, we'll be like on the level of the righteous. Carmen is with us, and Leah in Florida, Nancy in Massachusetts, David in Sacramento, Julia in Pennsylvania, Robert, Vicky in Ohio, welcome. Margot in California. Miranda is with us. Okay, we have Celeste, we have Yenta Telebenta, we have Ogo, Coy, Rachel, Alice, Aliza. Okay. Will we have the same before Mashiach comes, and will everyone be equally spiritual level? We're not going to be on the same equal spiritual level. Well, everybody will be different levels. What we learn now, we will experience then. So right now we're learning things that are sometimes hard to experience. We will experience it then. That's the So how do you tell a righteous? One of the ways is through the teachings. Not going to tell me, by the behavior you're going to see, but what are you going to actually, then that could be a Beinoni. But by the leadership quality that they have, and it will be an indication. The caring that they have for others, and the responsibility they feel for others will be somewhat of an indication. And again, behavior that you could see, so you could see at least some kind of behavior. When Mashiach comes, we will be elevated without effort. Got to put the effort in now, and the effort will be then got to put the effort. Will there be effort then? Good question. Seemingly there will still be effort. Okay. All right. Folks, we will continue our conversation on this tomorrow, which will get a greater indication. Coming to sort of a apex of how to define, Judaism, Jewish life. That's where we're going to come to. So stay tuned for more. Rambam coming up, starting a new book. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad Zuch and Kadesh from Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing day. Thank you.